Welcome to Speaking Of, I'm Jared.
I'm Kate.
And let's start out, as always, with a Viewer of the Week!
Because we always start immediately with the Viewer of the Week. This is a shock, to be honest.
I know, right?
But not to be derailed. This week's Viewer of the Week is none other than the famous t-shirt artist...
Caitlin, who made me this shirt. Caitlin, I am wearing your shirt per your request.
Beware of Mean Teacher, Mr. Vincent on the front, and on the back, the declaration of the best student ever.
Caitlin,
right?
yes.
Caitlin.
She knew she had a prime spot for advertising, so...
Take it.
Right?
That's what
so
I
now,
say.
Not only have I worn it on the show, I wore this at work a few times as well.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I would just keep it in my desk and, throw it on whatever.
I like it. Good work, Caitlin. Good work.
It is, right.
And congratulations.
Yes, I know you're really excited, or something, but...
Is that sarcasm? I can't tell.
She'll be able to tell. Anywho.
Wow.
What's going on with you?
Well, I'm trying to think of a story that I can tell on the show.
We seriously have got to start this Kickstarter campaign.
I have so many.
There's so many inappropriate things
that
to
cannot
tell.
be shared. Well, it's not because of that. It's
right.
Privacy reasons.
Oh, we can't even change names?
No. No. So...
Shucks. Well, I can...
Go for it.
And the ball has been tossed
for those
back
of you
to me.
who think we plan these out in advance, red flag number 78.
We're going to be fine. There's a show. Don't worry.
Actually, I do have a story.
You can go. Or, I mean, I've got something
well,
too, either way.
It just reminds me, I was watching Conan the other night, once in a blue moon, and he was like, He's like, we have an excellent show for tonight, which is new for us. We're going to try it and see how it works. He's like, usually we do okay shows, but that's kind of what I...
But we have a great show.
We have a great show today.
We have a
Don't
great
worry,
show
it'll
lined
be
up.
fine.
Everything's great. Everything's
It'll
fine.
be
It'll be fine.
fine.
So... I've been spending a lot of time in airports lately, as you know, some of our viewers know.
He just can't get himself out of town, much as he
might
might try.
I try hard. Heaven knows I try.
Clearly not hard enough, is all I'm gonna say.
So, I then stop me if you've heard this one before.
Stop. I don't need to hear it.
So I'm standing in line, as all great airport stories are, that this takes place at TSA.
Naturally.
So, as we all know, TSA hasn't had the staffing needs that it's needed recently, and...
However, now it's better.
It is better now. Mm-hmm. At this time, I was flying at night, too. Mm-hmm. So really, it wasn't that bad. So...
But to this guy...
I was like,
I have to wait
go!
30 seconds! You think I'm kidding?
I'm not. IG! Anyway... So, they had shut down the line for pre-screened customers. Right. So there's this gentleman and his wife. They're a little bit older, not like necessarily senior citizen, but they were pre-screen material.
Pre-screen material?
I wish I was pre-screen material. I can't wait.
Wait, hold on. What makes one pre-screen material?
I was reading the sign because I was there long enough. Apparently you have to be of a certain age.
Actually, that's not true.
Is it not true now?
No. It's not true. It's not true ever. They're not pre-screen material. It's just
what kind of material are they?
It's just that if you are under a certain age or over a certain age, you don't have to remove your shoes.
Oh. There
That's
we go.
it.
We're learning
Ain't
things
got
today.
nothing to do with pre-screen
material. So...
Anyway.
The attendant, because they were in front of me, and she says, okay, you don't have to take off your shoes. You can just go ahead and
you're
go
old.
and, just tell the people that you don't have to, take off their shoes. So by the time I get in, I end up behind them again. And I come in at the conversation. I wasn't really trying to eavesdrop, but it was kind of hilarious.
Sometimes it just can't be
Sometimes
helped.
it just passes the time. So I'm coming out, and he's like, the husband's like, I don't know, this line or that line. What should our plan of attack be? Now, exactly.
Don't say that at the airport.
So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm waiting for the swarm to come. Swarm those old people.
Go.
Go. We heard attack.
Not just attack, but a plan. of attack.
A plan.
That decides intent. Oh, that's too much Law and Order.
That's all right. It's good for something, that Law and Order. So, they had their shoes off already. And
They had their shoes off. Okay.
It's old people for you.
Sorry, old people.
So, the wife looks at me and she's like, well, what do you think? And now I'm worried I'm an accomplice.
Well, you are.
Excuse me. So, the big conundrum was they had taken their shoes off and they didn't know if they should put their shoes back on until the agent that, you know, they were pre-screened.
Ain't no one gonna make their flight tonight.
So I just look at him and I'm like, you know, you got your shoes off. I say live on the edge.
I bet they felt 20 years younger.
This line's not moving anyway. It's not going to help if your shoes are on or off. Anyway.
People that you run into.
They're fun.
What should our plan of attack?
What should our plan of attack be? I was mortified.
I recently heard, speaking of eavesdropping,
Yay.
there had been like a Comic-Con convention nearby. Not a Comic-Con
Was it ours?
No.
Oh.
And
this was okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and there was this group of, and this was well after, so I don't know. Okay, let me backtrack. I'm being prejudiced right now because I'm assuming that this group of 4 or 5 dweeby-looking young men had been participating in said convention. They may not have been. They may have just been on their way home from work. I don't know. But they looked like they were of con material, since we're going with that this week. Not ex-con, not convict.
Comic-Con.
Something dash con, okay?
There's so many names for them nowadays.
I know.
Anyway.
So anyway, they were having their little conversation, and I'm eavesdropping and fairly amused because they're being goofballs. But at one point, they're talking about work, and the one boy says, young man, whatever.
They're all boys. I was explaining to someone just recently. Yeah. Anyone that's 20... Oh, it was your husband, actually. 20 years old, that's a kid.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. This male, unidentified male, says, and I quote, every week we have to reset the time machines.
I really want it to be a DeLorean. I hope the story ends in a DeLorean. We have to reset the flux capacitor.
I'm confident that he meant to say, and if Alisanne, if you're watching, what he meant to say was the time clock. But then I just busted up laughing and I was telling my friend, I'm like, wow, they reset the time machine. Perhaps they should go back a little earlier and be cooler or something. But yeah, then the whole rest of the time we're like, they should use their time machine. Every week we have to reset the time machine.
See, now I'm all excited about the concept of a time clock being a time machine. You'd never be late!
I don't see why. Well, that's just it. Like, I don't, because then they were talking about time off or logging something, and I was like, use your time machine, duh! Come on, dude! You got a machine like that in your hand, and you don't even know what to do with it. What a waste. Then it makes me think of
Can't even be on time for work.
It makes me think of that movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, with Will Smith. And he sells those machines. I only remember this because the Hubs watched it recently. And so
I like it because it's a chick flick. That's why I laugh.
The Pursuit of Happiness is
Wasn't
not a chick flick.
Wasn't that one a chick flick? Oh, I'm thinking the one with his kid. Anyway,
he has his
go
kid
ahead.
with him.
He has his kid in all his movies. Continue.
Well, it wasn't his kid, but anyway, I don't know. He's supposed to sell these machines, and he carries them around. They look like boxes, and this homeless man steals it from him, thinking that it's a time machine, because he thinks it looks like a time machine. And later his son says to him, that's not a time machine. That guy thought it was a time... He's like 5. That guy thought it was a time machine. It's not a time machine. No, it is a time machine. And then they pretend like there's dinosaurs all around them.
That would be fun.
Now, if those kids that I had seen, those males, had done
Those
something exciting
males.
with their time machine, that could have... But no, they just have to reset it every week.
Speaking of dinosaurs, it reminds me that we need to take a trip soon to Universal Studios Hollywood. because there we can see the dinosaurs at Jurassic Park. But more importantly, we can see Wizard World. Or the wonderfully wizardly world.
I do really want to see a Wizard World, but I told you the problem with Wizard World Hollywood is that it's going to be more crowded.
Yes, it'll be a grand opening. So maybe we can hit the one in Florida.
We could be so lucky.
The one in Hollywood is going on.
I have a friend who is at this moment or just returned from that very place. So I will be getting some tips and tricks from her. But here's the thing. Here's what they have done in all of their greediness.
In all of their greediness?
Not my friend.
Oh, okay.
Universal Studios. In all of their greediness. Because,
what are they doing?
Let's be honest, that's the American way. They have split the Harry Potter Wizarding Park into 2 parks.
Oh, in Orlando? Yeah.
Yes. So that if you want to go to Hogwarts, you have to go to one park and pay admission. If you want to go to Diagon Alley, or whatever the other place was, you have to go to another park and pay another admission, which we all know is basically the cost of your firstborn child.
Right.
So rude.
No.
I'm just saying that's blatant greed is what that is. Who's gonna want to just go to one?
No one is.
Exactly.
No, so speaking of the 2 parks, because this reminds me, so in Orlando, they had to close down the Jaws ride to build the other Harry Potter park.
Sorry, Jaws. I guess you can't get your bigger boat.
No. So one of my students says to me, big Harry Potter fan, and he's like, so when I go, do you think I'll be like on a ride and all of a sudden Jaws is going to come up like through the floor?
Because they didn't get rid of him. They just built
just
over
underneath
him.
That's what he said.
This is how ghost stories happen. They built the house over the side of the asylum and therefore... Yeah, it's going to be something like that. Jaws is just going to...
No, that just cracked me up because he was like, I'll be like on the Hogwarts Express and then all of a sudden Jaws.
That would actually...
That would be awesome.
Do stuff like that every so often.
It's a crossover.
Now, speaking of Harry Potter, my niece and her new husband... I'm sorry, I have stray hairs
I can't
everywhere.
imagine all your nieces and nephews getting married.
If you're related to me, if you're one of my nieces and nephews...
You need to start aging backwards.
No more aging. All right, children? No more. Anyway, so they told me, I don't know if I've told you this. Actually, I think I did. They
That's
told
all right.
me,
I'll pretend it's new.
I heard a great new joke, a Harry Potter themed joke.
Oh, I don't think you did.
All right. Okay. How?
The big finale!
Are we that close, really?
Yes.
Well, the look on producer's face says...
We're doing good.
We're fine.
Tell your joke, we'll grab
Devin's still watching, it's fine. So, Devin, here's how the joke goes.
Harry Potter and Hermione walk into a bar. Oh, no? Okay.
They do at some point, however, no. So, how does Harry Potter get around at Hogwarts?
How?
By walking. JK! Rolling. Right? It's awesome. Told it to the hubs, he had no idea what I was talking about.
That's because he thinks Agatha Christie is dead. Speaking of dead...
He thinks Agatha Christie is dead?
Was it us that thought he was dead?
Yes! No, it was us that didn't know if she was dead, and she was dead before we were born.
Oh, speaking of that, I just texted you the other night. Judy
that's
Blume
right.
is still alive, folks.
She still has time to prepare us for Easy A type life stories.
To do. No, it was funny because she had a new book released, and not only was I questioning first if she was still alive, I thought it was like some post-mortem release or something.
Okay.
Like they found a script or something.
Okay, well, to
like
be
the Kill a
fair-
Mockingbird person.
Right. No, she was still alive.
Oh, she was still alive too?
I had the same thing. I didn't realize that she was. And then they released the Night Watchman book, and then she passed away shortly after.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize that until they announced that she had passed away. And then I was concerned. Now, speaking of which, okay, I'm sorry. I don't care how long we've been going. The caffeine has finally kicked in, and I have some things to say.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Okay, so I was talking to, I don't remember who, probably some stranger, I don't know. And I was like, oh yeah, somebody...
We talked to way too many strange people.
I have been talking to a lot of strangers lately. So, I was saying... He was saying something about all the rain that he'd gotten, and he's like, it was just really interesting that right after Prince died, it rained for like a week straight from wherever he was from. And I said...
Was it purple?
That's what I said.
Oh.
Was it purple rain? Because that would have been really cool. And so then I said... So then we were talking about it, and I was saying, oh yeah, it's unfortunate that, all these celebrities are dying, and especially when it has to do with drugs, and that's unfortunate. And I said, I don't know if it's just that they're really dropping like flies, or if I'm just at that age now where I'm more familiar with more of them. And he was like, no, I think they really are dropping. Well, on that token, I happen to see someone's phone or something somewhere, and I'm seeing this story about an interview with Richard Simmons or somebody reporting.
Oh, I heard about him.
Well, I didn't know, and so immediately I was like, oh no, did he die? But no, he didn't. He's just mixed up in some stuff that apparently he's not mixed up in, and it's fine.
Well, it's sad to be Richard. I mean, I've always felt bad for Richard Simmons because the media preys on him way too much.
Leave the poor man alone. He is delightful.
So, yeah, he's either going through stuff, or he's had a mental breakdown, or the recent one is that he's in transition. I mean, come on.
So what if he is? Leave him alone.
Right?
He can sweat to the oldies no matter which position he is in. What?
Transition
that
position.
may be our cue.
That is our cue. So we're going to wrap up now that we've sweated to the oldies and many other things in this. All right. I'm Jared.
I'm Kate.
We'll see you next time.
Bye. And leave Richard Simmons alone.
Yeah.